Hey everybody, welcome back into the video. So, with the news from that Bloomberg report, what was it? Wednesday? It was like Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm not sure, but I think it was Wednesday, I believe so. I think. Not that matters, but... So I kind of want to talk about what I think 343 should do, but I kind of want to bring two things up first before we get into what I think they should do. First off, I want to bring up this old quote from Phil Spencer all the way back in 2011. I think it was around the time Halo 4 was announced, so this was even before we knew how the game would look or even played. Here's what he said. If we lose our way with Halo, we lose our way with Xbox. Published on August 4th, 2011. So, what, almost 12 years ago, around that point. So, by that time, Bungie was already long gone. And 343 took over the franchise. So you kind of get where I'm going with this. By this point, I'd say, yes, Phil, you have lost your way with Halo. You truly have. And for one simple reason or another. 343 has been mismanaged for so long. And why did it take so freaking long for you and Matt Booty to investigate, replace the problems that were there? Why did you wait so long to investigate the issues and deal with it, when you had ex-developers outright coming out and confirming what we all already knew? By that point, I'd argue that the management should have been replaced long before Halo Infinite even entered production, because if that would have happened, I really doubt Halo Infinite would have as many issues as it has had ever since launch in 2021. Hell, I'd argue we would not have seen that disastrous gameplay reveal in 2020. I would argue with you on that. I think the evidence justifies itself, in my opinion. And see, someone who I know in the Xbox gaming community, Gas from Game On Daily, I think he put up a video kind of talking about the potential future of Halo, and he put out a portion of it on Twitter with this tweet. The next Halo need not be afraid of changes. Many Halo fans will hate this. Oh, I agree with this. But I would love it if the new leadership at 343 had enough conviction in their vision to stick a middle finger at everybody, say, we will build Halo our way, and it will be masterful. And I completely agree with them, because notice how every single change 343 tried to do with the Halo franchise, the community would essentially, rip them to shreds. And while I have had my fair share of criticism of some of the changes, but he's right. He's really right. Ever since then, essentially, 343 has been trying to chase Bungie's shadow. Like, do y'all realize that? And Bungie's been gone ever since Halo Reach came out. You know what I mean? Because every single Halo release that 343 has done, there has been some form of backlash from the community. I think it's simple, because them, like the Gears community, they refuse to accept any major changes that 343 is or will do to the series. Like the whole loadouts thing in Halo 4. We all bitched about that. They removed them and went back to a more arena starts in Halo 5. Well, we bitched about the campaign and whatnot. But that was really bad writing, though. That one was totally more understandable because it was such dog shit. I mean, they pivoted and essentially got rid of pretty much the whole created storyline, where there could have been some potential. Like, imagine traveling between different colonies leading up to the ultimate battle on Earth, where Chief would ultimately take down Cortana for good, leading to an impactful, finale to that story in a meaningful way. But we got what we got with Halo Infinite. Don't get me wrong, I loved Halo Infinite's story, unlike Gas and a few others, but that's my opinion. You gotta get what I'm saying, though. Like, every single release of Halo that 343 has done ever since they took over, there's been some form of controversy. I forgot to even mention the whole Master Chief Collection, disaster that was when it first launched all the way back in 2014. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing now, and that's thank God they essentially revived that, because the collection now is in such a good place now, especially with mod support on PC and all that. It would be nice if one day they managed to make mod support work on Xbox as well. That would be amazing. I would love that. So, hint 10, 343. Now that with all of that out of the way, what do I think 343 should do? Because I do think they should switch to Unreal, because so many studios in the industry, even Microsoft's own studios, use Unreal. Most of them do. I believe it's Playground Games that's using it for Fable, I think. Or is it Forza Tech? I'm not sure which one with that one. Coalition's using it, obviously, for the Gears of War franchise. I believe Arcane is for Redfall. I know, Undead Labs does for State of Decay. Obsidian obviously does for their games. The list goes on and on and on. Hell, even 3 uses Unreal already. For those who don't know, when you press the pause menu for the UI in the Master Chief Collection, that's actually on Unreal Engine 4, for those who don't know. Because people who looked into the files on PC, and I believe even when the game crashes, I've seen the game crash on my laptop sometimes. It even mentioned something about Unreal, so that should kind of tell you that 3 has actually used Unreal in the past, just not in a major way. They just used it for the UIs in the Master Chief Collection, while everything else is just, Blam engine. That is notoriously known for being really hard and buggy to work with, as Bloomberg has reported in their article this past week. Hence why a vocal portion of Server 3, think that they should move to Unreal, and it looks like that side has won out. If all the sources are correct, which it probably is, because it's by reputable people. I know people don't like Jay Schreier. I personally don't, for his opinions, but like the guy or not, he does very good work when it comes to actually reporting on the gaming industry. And I think we need more game journalists like him. Personally, I don't like him, but that's just my take. But that's just me, though. Anyway, back to the thing at hand. So here's what I kind of think they should do. I think they should be transparent with their long-term plans for the franchise. Take a page out of CD Projekt Red's playbook. Because for all of you who don't remember, back in, I think, September, October, or something like that, CDPR did in one of their financial reports, they actually did a long-term, strategy. They revealed their long-term strategy for the next, decade or two of their projects. Because they announced a new Witcher trilogy. Then there's going to be a Witcher 1 remake. Then there's some kind of spin-off that is supposed to have some sort of co-op element to it. Which kind of makes sense, because they were trying to do that with Cyberpunk, but we kind of know how that launch ended up, and they scrapped the multiplayer, and it's strictly a single-player game, like, their previous games are. And now they seemingly want to do multiplayer in the future, so obviously. So I do think they should go that route, personally. Just to, calm everybody down, because the future of Halo is so uncertain, and it really should not have come to this. It really shouldn't have. Halo Infinite could have been such an easy, massive win for Halo to make its comeback to the top. But mismanagement, prevented that from happening for so long. I mean, the fact that you had 3 developers calling out ex-management over there when the layoffs happened is pretty telling. And from what I've heard, the original studio head for 3 when you remember Chris Lee? He was the one who spewed that 10-year plan bullshit. That was all BS. And second of all, as it turns out, he was actually lying to Bonnie and Phil about the true state of the game, but I think that's also their fault too, because they didn't investigate the actual shape that the game was in. Remember, folks, by summer 2019, 2/3 of Halo Infinite's campaign was cut. That should tell you just how much of a disaster the development of the game was. It's a miracle that the game came out in the shape that it did, and it was how polished it was, for the most part. And that it won Player's Choice of the Year was completely out of left field, to be honest with you, considering how bad of a development struggle the game was. I don't think anyone could really argue that with how the game is, incomplete. I don't think anyone can argue that. I sure as hell can't, but you see, you kind of get what I'm saying at this point. So, yeah, I really do think they should do a long-term, plan. Reveal, even if they're just code names for their future projects, especially that Project Tatanka, which apparently is now possibly turning into something else, apparently. So, not just a Battle Royale mode as it originally was envisioned. It could turn into something else, like a brand new game, possibly. That 3's working on a certain affinity. And that's just the multiplayer part. We haven't even gotten into the single player part, because there's a lot of uncertainty with the single player part because a lot of the layoffs were from the single player side of 343. I think it was like 95 people, the Bloomberg report said it, which was a lot of people. So, and 343 is actually a big studio, but a lot of it was like contractors, so that's a whole nother thing too. By them moving to Unreal, it would actually benefit the contractor situation a lot because so many people in the industry use Unreal for their projects, not just outside of Xbox studios too, I know like BioWare has done in the past, Respawn has. You kind of get what I'm saying though at this point. There's plenty of studios out there who use Unreal for their projects, and if 343 needs help, even from within Xbox's own studios, I mean, the Coalition are technical wizards when it comes to Unreal. So that's another example of where 343 could get help, efficiently if they need help, with Unreal Engine. And based on the quality of games that have come out using Unreal Engine, yeah, Halo could look absolutely, bonkers in Unreal Engine. Now, my only concern is, can they, essentially replicate the physics that the Blame Engine / Swift Space can provide? Hopefully, I'd imagine they're going to try their damn best to get it, as close as they possibly can. That's kind of like why people within 343 were concerned about switching to Unreal. And that's why there was kind of an internal debate within the studio over the topic. But at the end of the day, 343 needs to be transparent with the community. We kind of deserve it. So after such a chaotic, last couple of years surrounding Halo Infinite, really the series as a whole, really. So I really hope with the new management they listen to this. Not just myself, really, but the community as a whole. And we kind of get some clarification, transparency on everything, because we kind of need it so that we could kind of know what exactly is going on, Some form of plan. And regarding the plan, I hope it's like really long term. Hopefully, I mean, you don't even need to go into specifics. Just say, the next, big Halo game is in pre-production or something like that, or is in the planning phases. Just something. Just something so people will calm down about it, That's really all I'm really asking, And that's just me just speaking from a Halo fan standpoint, Because I'm super passionate about this franchise, and I'm glad they confirmed that it's continuing, but I want some actual clarification, on what exactly are your plans going forward. Like, are you still going to be doing single-player campaigns like you most likely are? Like, what are your plans for it? Are you going to be doing the campaign in-house like you have done in the past, or are you going to outsource it, to someone, like Certain Affinity or someone, Just give us some clarification, and you have any spin-offs. Are you going to be collaborating with studios outside of 343? Like the Bloomberg seemed to say, while Matt Booty is, certain them they would still be in charge, they'll still be working outside studios to do stuff. So if that's the case as well, have them do spin-offs, say have a outside studio like Certain Affinity or someone else do the campaign while you do the multiplayer in-house like you have done with both Halo Infinite and Halo 5 for 343. While obviously still continuing to support Halo Infinite, obviously, because that's obviously your goal at the moment. But just clarify, just give us true, full transparency. I think we all deserve to know at this point, so that we could kind of move on from this and kind of speculate about the future, like exciting, about the future of Halo, like it was. And hopefully with the movement to Unreal, it won't be as bad, because it definitely was. The Blame Engine was definitely a reason why development was so much longer. Think about it this for a second. Halo Infinite took 6 years after Halo 5. We got even less content at launch than that game did. I think that's another testament just to how brutal game development of Halo Infinite was. Again, another example of mismanagement, like I said before, but I think that's everything I need to get off the chest. And 343, like Gas said, go balls to the wall. If there's any really big changes you want to do, go balls to the wall with it. Go all out with it. Don't half-ass it. And if the Halo community, essentially tries to give a shit for it, just ignore it, because I think it's pretty clear at this point they really don't want change. I think they've proven with their behavior over the past decade, they don't want change. They just want things to play like the Bungie games. I think it's pretty proven in that. Now, the Bungie games are amazing at defining a generation of first-person shooters, but it's time to move on. It really is time to move on. You know, and Halo needs to reinvent the wheel, like God of War and The Legend of Zelda did. Like, if we get that kind of a reinvention for the Halo series, that's going to go a long way to improving the popularity of the franchise, because it has derailed for the last decade. I don't think anyone can deny that. So, 343, for it to do a true reboot, reinvent the fucking wheel. Go balls to the wall. And truly make this new vision of yours of Halo, make you stand out under Bungie's shadow. Move out of that. And truly make Halo feel like your own. Because Halo really needs it. Because I would love nothing more. All Halo fans should love nothing more for the series to make a true comeback. And if 343 succeeds on their vision and reinvents the wheel, it's going to go a long way to that. I firmly believe that. I firmly believe that 343 are passionate folks. I truly believe that. But not with this new management and hopefully a new vision. I truly think Halo could make a true comeback. But time will tell. Hopefully we don't have to wait another eternity like we did between Halo 5 and Halo Infinite. But hey, time will tell at the end of the day. So, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That's everything I kind of want to say on this. If you like this video, hit the like button, comment down below what do you think. What do you think the new vision of Halo should be under this new management 343? I'm curious to know what your thoughts are, and if you liked it, and consider hitting that sub button so you don't miss any more videos. And I'll see you on the next one. Until then, have a great one.